Hello. Hello, everybody. This is a weird stream. This is going to be a very strange stream. Okay, it's telling my microphone is loud. Interesting. Okay. I'll not be loud. Oh, it's still telling me my microphone is loud. I'll just whisper into the mic. Anyway, hello. This is Source Filmmaker. We'll talk about that in a minute. Happy Star Wars week. The Last Jedi comes out in 3 days. So, Source Filmmaker. Let me show you my history with Source Filmmaker, and then we'll jump into the actual program itself. So these are some images I created in Source Filmmaker. I've only been using Source Filmmaker for about a month now. This one I haven't released. This is actually just my profile picture on Steam and some other places. I made it just for that. This is my newest piece that I did. ODSTs from Halo fighting. I'll show you some of these in the engine as well. These are some test images I'd never released as well. This is one of an ODST, and this is one of the Master Chief. These were just things I did when I was learning Source Filmmaker. And some other things here. Hello! I don't know how interesting of a stream this is going to be for you, because I'm building a scene in Source Filmmaker. So I have no idea if that's exciting to you in any way. Probably not. Anyway, it's this Kylo Ren one, and Scout Trooper, and Spider-Man. That's one of the rough Spider-Man that I never finished because I fixed the, you know, the backpack thing on this. Anyway, I'll show some of these in Source Filmmaker, and then we're going to start our own Christmas Star Wars Source Filmmaker thing. Why am I doing this? Because Akami HD isn't out yet, and that's what's taking up this slot. So we're just doing a one-off stream today to do this. So let me jump in and I'll show you this scene. This was the second scene I ever did in Source Filmmaker. So let me jump in and show you that. Which one is it? Here we go. No, we can't Zelda because I can't finish a Zelda game in one day. So no, I have a schedule. Okay, so here we go. Let me do this and turn this off. So this is the scene that was built. It's pretty crazy. This one took me quite a while. And yeah, it just focuses on this section right here. And then I did a bunch of different lighting passes, bunch of different things, and the final ended up looking like this. And if I take the camera around with the lighting on as well, you can see it's a little crazy. There's a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of different pieces in motion. But this idea of a moment frozen in time is going to be something I'm going to use for this Christmas image we're going to do tonight. It's going to be fairly simple, not as elaborate as this. Just some stormtroopers hanging out with a Christmas tree, pretty much, is the idea. Which is going to be quite fun. Let me jump into another thing here. I've been working on so many different things. Let me jump into the ODST scene that I did. Sure, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to be here. I'm back to playing streaming games tomorrow. So don't worry about it. What camera? Okay, so let me move this where I need to be. Okay, so this is the ODST scene that I did. I think to some people it might surprise them that there's so many lights in this scene that are actually used. There's a lot of weird things going on in this scene. Again, a lot of these scenes are quite laggy because the amount of lights I use, so if I disable lighting, it's much smoother. The entire scene I built on a flat plane and then rotated it up by about 15 degrees, as you can see, purely because I wanted to get the sky, and I ended up not really using much of the skybox that I had. And then I used forced perspective on a few things like these. Like this Covenant Cruiser is massive in like Halo scale, but what I ended up doing was making it quite small, so then in the background of the scene it still looks like this huge looming thing, and I put clouds over it and such in Photoshop. You can see there's a lot of detail in the scene, the scaffolding on buildings that I placed, and then over here at the crane, let me Open the FOV a little bit. I even built things on the girders. It's a little crazy, this scene. There was a lot going on in this scene. And like I said, when I enable lighting, you can see that I knew I was going to put plasma bolts going through here and here. So I added the light sources for those. But the FPS drops to like 8 when I'm moving around like this. Which is an issue I'm having because I'm learning animation within Source Filmmaker now. Because I've only been using this for poster scenes and such for about a month now. But now I've been learning animation as well. I'm doing some crazy things with animation. And oh my god, it hates so many light sources. But it's fine because when you export, it's all smooth anyway. But yeah, this is this scene. Again, this took forever. And down the side here, you can see all the entities. If I unhide, there is a lot. There's not that many lights. There's only 24 in the scene. I have another scene I'm working on where I've got almost 100 lights. And I pretty much have to work with lights off in that. I kind of wish there was a way to not... for that not to happen. But hey, what are you going to do? Let me show you one more simple scene. Let's... I don't know if I have any more simple... Oh, here we go. This is the very first scene I did. This is the Scout Trooper. I did this at the end of October, I think? I don't remember. Maybe it was the end of November. I don't remember things. So this is the first scene I ever did. I learned a lot in this scene. It took me a lot longer than all the other scenes as well, purely because, again, I was using this to learn things. The scene itself is quite small. It's just an ATST with a Scout Trooper sat on it. These cloth pieces were really, really useful. He's sat on some as well. They create a really cool effect. And, you know, if I didn't have those, it would be much less interesting because he'd just be sat like this. But with the cloth pieces, adds a little bit of interesting elements to it. And there's quite a few lights on this. There's some volumetric lighting going on in the background just to create kind of a smoky, swampy kind of forest feel. And that is about it. There is a light source over here. We'll talk about why I do lighting the way I do lighting later. It's through a system that's a script you can get. I use that to kind of base my lighting off and then kind of expand it from there. Like I said, this is probably not interesting to many people, but we're 8 minutes in, so I think we should jump into the plan for the Christmas Star Wars image that I'm going to make now. So, let me talk first about my first idea, which I'm not doing. I would have loved to do this idea, but I'm not going to do it. So, the first idea... Oh my god. Okay, let's zoom out. Was this. It was going to be a scene on top of like a snowy mountain on some distant planet. We'd have a stormtrooper stood right here, and then other stormtroopers packing into this, what are they called? Shuttle, Lambda class shuttles, right? And it just doesn't look right to me. It doesn't work. I also think it's going to take too long for the stream. I don't want this to be a 900-part stream, and by 900-part I mean 900 minutes. So my other idea, which is the one we're actually going to do, is a much smaller, more contained thing. So we'll jump into that now. Now, if anyone's wondering why I haven't done many Source Filmmaker things recently, and why this is probably going to be my last one of the year, is, like I said, I'm working on this really big animation at the moment. So please wait. Please wait for that. So I imported a few things before the stream. These are just some hanger pieces. We're going to use this as the kind of the backdrop. We're going to probably light source all of these, blue lights down. Have a fairly dark-ish hanger. Not going to light it too much. We've got a few stormtroopers. We're going to use these as pose things. We've got a Death Trooper in there, you know, for good feeling. Christmas tree. It's in a little plant pot thing. Death Star instead of a normal star on top, because I thought, why not? We've got a step ladder. He's going to be carrying some presents. We've got an R5 units back there. And a mouse droid. And then I've also created all of these. So these are just some more Star Wars models, but they're like miniature versions, so I can kind of use them as toys and such. So this is the scene. This is the idea. It's pretty simple, and I think something just simple like this will work for the stream better than something crazy big. I'm also using some weird music in the background right now, but I think that would be more interesting than just me talking all the time. So yeah. Here we go. I think the first thing I want to do is pose this guy in the front. I may end up pushing him way forward, like off here, and then lowering the field of view of this to create a little bit more of a dynamic scene. I'm probably not going to have any depth of field on this either. Maybe just a tiny little bit. But I'm not sure what I really want this guy to do, which is why I think we should start with him. So I'm just going to turn off all of the options for everything except for him. And we'll pose the Santa sack as well. We'll hide that for now. I'm just hiding the bones in the viewer here. If I turn lighting on, by the way, it's like this. So there's no lighting really at all. There's just reflective maps on these surfaces. So we have a lot of lighting to do as well. This is going to be a fairly long stream, I think. And if people are here for tutorials on how to use Source Filmmaker, please go watch a video that isn't mine, because I haven't watched any myself. So I probably do everything wrong. But anyway, I think I'm going to pose him slightly to the side like this. I'm going to have him... This is me just doing a very rough pose to see if I like it. I'm going to have him... I think we're going to have him almost looking at camera. This is why I want... I'm going to change this now, actually. Let me create an animation set for the camera. And I'm going to just push in the focal distance. Not that focal distance, the field of view. And then push the camera back. I think I want something more... I definitely want to get the full tree in. I want the mouse droid in as well. This is actually going to be tricky. See, this is why I'm not sure where I want the stormtrooper to be in front. Because this is the scene I want. Yeah, that's the scene I want. Almost that exactly. Maybe even a little bit further back with a slightly wider field of view, like there. So maybe I'm going to push this stormtrooper as far forward as this. Because I do kind of just want to have him blocking out one side of the image. Like this. This is pretty good, actually, as a base where I want him. Maybe a smidge higher, like just a couple of pixels higher. Just to kind of break the scene up. And I might push the camera across slightly as well. So if we move the camera this way to about here, and then move the stormtrooper across. This is how I kind of work with my Source Filmmaker images. I just kind of try to figure things out as I go. Some people as well use secondary viewports. It's a fine technique to do. I only really use it if I'm animating in Source Filmmaker. A lot of the time when I'm just doing posters, I just quite like flicking between two different cameras. I think it's faster for me anyway. Because I'm often not in this camera view because I know this is how I want the shot to end up, so I spend a lot of time in the work camera. So, we've got this how I want it. I'm going to have him carrying these Christmas presents. This is actually I think it's a scout backpack. I could be wrong with that. But I think it's a scout backpack from TF2, which I quite liked. Let's have him carrying it this way. Also, I think at the end of this, I'm going to add Santa hats to everyone. I was hoping as well to show you guys some Photoshop and how I do some of my Photoshopping on these scenes, but I think I'm just gonna not do that, basically, because I think it's just gonna take too long. I might do it if people like this, then I may do another video about Photoshopping, but this is just gonna be a fairly chill stream. Okay, that's looking good. Push it back a little bit more. I probably spend way too much time and effort on a lot of these things for my initial poses, because I go through and I refine a lot of the time. Okay, yeah. And then I just want to rotate it this way. And rotate it up a little bit. It's always a little awkward when the root transform position, like the widget gizmo thing, is slightly off position. Some people always recommend recompiling to fix that, because you could throw this into a 3D program and change where the root node is, but you can work around it. It's not hugely necessary. Hey, this is looking pretty good. Just need to get this bit over his belt. Yeah, that looks good. So I want him kind of like hugging it with this arm. It's weird talking what my brain thinks. That's a sentence. Because I don't do that all the time. It's weird expressing what I'm thinking with this. Because usually I you know, don't really talk to myself when I'm doing these sorts of scenes. So we'll just place the hand like this and have a look. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. I might rotate. Can we rotate the armor piece separately? No, okay. Some models have that option, some do not. Oh, if people are wondering, most of these models are from the Steam Workshop. They're ripped from Battlefront or Battlefront 2. Some of them are private models that I've been given. Although I think everything I'm using in this is from Workshop. Some of these small things that I'll be using for the toys are, I think, might be private. Which I'm lucky enough that people have given me. Now, what's going to be different about this than my other scenes is a lot of my other scenes are quite serious. Like, they're about serious moments that could happen in Star Wars or Halo. They're, you know, they're serious in nature. They're not jovial. I want this to be a little bit more jokey. That looks pretty good. I might nudge the bag up a little bit. Because it looks like he's just hugging the top of it, and I wonder if it... Well, that kind of makes sense, but the way he's hugging it right now, you'd more imagine it to be like this, I think. Oh, maybe not. I kind of liked that. That's pretty good. I like that. So let's just fix the arm positions a little bit. Now that I moved it. I don't know if I'm gonna... I might just lower this arm down to about here. So it's almost like he's trying to grab the top with this, and these are kind of falling out. I think that looks pretty good. And I don't imagine this is going to be like a super popular piece or anything, because I'm just doing it for fun. I wonder if I'm like looking up this way. That looks pretty. I'm pretty happy with that actually. Now, I'm not hugely happy with how this arm looks, so I'm gonna fix this a little bit. When you've seen these armors in real life, like I've seen many stormtroopers in real life, and I've seen the First Order guys as well. The shoulder pieces move in a really specific way that luckily I can alter, and they sit in a really interesting way too, especially when you've seen a guy eat a sandwich while in a stormtrooper outfit. It looks like the most challenging thing in the world. So this looks good, but his arm is still effed up, so that looks better. Yeah, we're getting there now. And what I do sometimes is I actually just move the bones. I don't really recommend this because it kind of squashes and pulls the rig a lot, especially because the skinning is done in a certain way. See, now, because his arm is rotated so much, I can't remember where the front is. This is another thing that happens to me all the time. I'm pretty sure this is the underside right here, and I want this to be the side of his arm. So So we've just got to get it in a way that doesn't look stupid here. Because if we look from this angle, this looks too, I guess, bulbous. We want the armor to still crop over it, like that. And then, yeah, we want his armor to be about here. In this kind of crease is basically where I want his hand to be. Okay, that looks pretty good. While it doesn't matter, I like to just do a little bit of posing with the legs. It doesn't ever really... It won't matter at all in this case because we won't see them. But hey, just a little bit. You don't want him just to be always in the standard pose. I haven't done a lot with his spine here as well. He's stood pretty upright. But I like that pose. It looks really nice. And you can see everything going on in the background. We could even shift, like push in slightly and shift, but I think this dead space will be used pretty well when I've kind of finished fitting the scene a little bit. So, this section of the scene is going to be definitely frozen. Well, the whole thing is frozen in time, but I'm going to have him climbing the ladder and falling off, basically. We're going to have the Death Trooper kneel down around here, and we're going to have the droid kind of just somewhere over here. The droid's not going to be doing much. Okay. I'm going to finish finger posing this guy, which shouldn't be too tricky because it's a fairly simple thing. Yeah, he's just... I always do this thing where I look down at my hands and I kind of figure out what I'm doing. Like, if I was holding something, how would my thumb rest? My thumb would actually rest more like this, weirdly. I don't know if it's going to look really goofy. See, it looks terrible. This is a thing I've learned. How my hand usually would carry things or hold things is not how it would look normally. Like, I do a lot of Google searching for how the military hold guns and, like, trigger discipline and such, purely because I wouldn't hold a gun like that. Like, if I go grab a Nerf gun, my hand's going to be right on the trigger the entire time. So, I needed to do some research for, definitely for military stuff when I was posing the guys with guns. Okay. This can be quite tedious, just going through and figuring out how we want the fingers to look. These both look okay. These two middle fingers, they're pretty much exactly where they need to be. This one is the one that's a little bit annoying. Hey, that looks pretty good. And then this last one, let's just fold the thumb this way and then this way. Looks good. See, it is very tedious, but it's so worth it when you get the final, like, pose done. Like here, I'm not sure how this is going to look at all. Like, I'm actually dreading seeing how this is going to look on camera. Because this finger already looks ridiculous from this position, so I don't know how it's going to look from the camera. Surprisingly not too bad. But we're kind of going off-camera view at this point. So it might be worth just slightly shimmying some of these up. I'm not a big fan of how sharp this bend is right here. But there's not a lot I can do about it. That doesn't look too bad. I think this needs to point down more, like he's grabbing. Again, it's off the. It's pretty much off the frame there. But hey, I think that looks pretty good. There's our stormtrooper holding a bag of presents. I was wondering if maybe I should stuff some more in there, but I think he looks pretty busy as is. So next, we're leaving him behind. He can stay there. We are going to pose our first stormtrooper with the ladder. Now, I had this idea just because I think a scene where a bunch of people are just stood around, frozen in time, is a little bit unexciting. I think they should be doing something. And I think most scenes should be that way, unless you're trying to do a character piece. So I thought it'd be pretty interesting if we had a stormtrooper near the top of a stepladder, which the stepladder is too small for him anyway, but we can fake the perspective, so it's fine. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's push it forward a little bit. To about here. And then we'll actually move the stormtrooper up to about here. Oh, I guess maybe he would be technically up here when he was falling. Yeah, that makes sense. And let me just get a reference. I always do references on my other screen or my other side of the monitor, which I have just Googled ladder falling. There's some fairly hilarious ones. So the first thing I can see here is a lot of the ladders are also moving. So if we do something like this and have it kind of falling over itself, move it to about here, and then lift this up. So this is kind of the leg it's falling from. So we want it kind of tilted this way. Yeah, it may be a little bit too violent of an angle, but let's see. Let's see how this goes. Well, let me see if I can find a good image of someone falling. This is a pretty good silhouette I've found. Let me pull it on to here so you can see. It's just a fairly simple shape. I kind of like this. The angle of the legs is pretty good here. I don't really like his arms being so straight, but that's fine. So we'll use that as reference. Yeah. So he's going to be about here when he's falling. He's not going to have one really long leg like the Ready Player One Jesus poster. Did anyone else see that? Ridiculous. I'm not convinced that's going to be a good movie either. As much as I like the book, I'm not certain that should have been made into a movie. Okay, and then we'll have him like this. Maybe we also try to do this with this one. Maybe we push this one up. Yeah, that's a pretty good position. And usually in this sort of thing, you'd have your head kind of thrown, like reacting to it, like something like that. Cool. And we will just shift the upper body like this. That looks fairly ridiculous right now. So let's outstretch both of his arms, because I do want them outstretched, but I didn't like them as kind of stiff and like far too rigid, basically, they were before. I feel like if you're falling, you're going to be flailing a little bit. So I kind of want to see if I can get the idea of flailing. Okay, let's have a look at that. Kind of looks like he's waving to the camera right now. But I'm sure that will change. I mean, maybe we can have him with this hand. Maybe he's falling with something. Like maybe he's putting a bauble up, and he's fallen with the bauble. So maybe this hand can be kind of outstretched, trying to grab it. And we'll pull these in slightly. So it's like 2 of his fingers are trying to grab it. He's kind of trying to reach for it. Like this. And like this. Okay, I can get rid of the reference now. I'm at the pose where I need to be. Bauble. Bauble is, it's a word that can be said with my accent. Yeah, it can be said. It needs to be more of a grab, so I think maybe this can go here. Bauble. I think I have a bauble I can import. Here we go. I don't know, it has other skins. We'll just go with a red one. Bauble, bauble, bauble. I have to say it because I just imported one. So we'll scale it to the size of one of these on the tree, and I can always change the colour for it to match in Photoshop later. Oh, this is a small looking bauble. I'm going to keep saying the word bauble. It's about the same size, look. Okay, cool. And place this about here. Give it a little bit of a spin to about here. Can be a little higher than that, I think. As though he has kind of fallen and it's following him. I think that for a trajectory arc works. Okay, cool. I still don't think he necessarily looks like he's grabbing for it. But I suppose from a side profile, doing a grab-like shape is pretty difficult. Let's just do that. Maybe we punch all of these together slightly. Yeah, that looks better. And then with his other arm, I think I'm just gonna, like, its current position is pretty good. I might just lower it slightly. And then I might just extend and overextend on a couple of these. And then put these in. Looks pretty good. Rotate, and then move this back up and rotate, and then rotate this way. That looks pretty good. This hand looks like it's very much like being let go of it. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. That's a pretty good pose. He's dropped that bauble pretty good, and I can add a bit of motion blur on that in Photoshop. I think the trajectory needs it to be a little bit lower. Like if I look at it, I think the trajectory should be about here. Yeah, that's good. The ladder looks good too. So this is the scene right now. We have floating stormtrooper in the front, and the rest of the scene at the back looks like that. We're going to import some more decorations for the back of here too. But next, we're going to do the Death Trooper from Rogue One. Actually, let's place where the droid's going to be, the R5 unit. He doesn't have anything special. I just grabbed this from the Gmod workshop, so I imported this from Gmod. I might just have this guy kind of off in the back. Oh wow, you can't even see him there. If I place him here, he blends in with the Death Trooper too much. And if I place him here, he's with the mouse droid, and it looks too similar. Maybe he can be here, because the Death Trooper is going to be moved much closer. He's going to be placing presents under the tree, is the Death Trooper. So let's hide the bones for all of these, and then unhide them for the Death Trooper. And again, I'm just going to look for a simple crouching image. This is usually what I do, because I feel like I know how to pose someone crouching. I just googled crouch and got a load of... What's the goalie called? Is it Peter Crouch? It's got a bunch of pictures of Peter Crouch. It's not the kind of... No. I kind of want more of a military crouch than these crouches that I'm looking at on the other side of my screen. Kind of like you've got down on one knee to marry the presence. Crouching one knee. Great, yeah, it's a bunch of pictures of a dude's crouching. Yeah, something... Well, it's going to be difficult to get the pose I want because he's in giant armor anyway. So I think I'm just going to wing it and then use some of these as reference points. Ooh, I got an email from Sphera, Spheria, or however you pronounce it, who the guys who make like the robot droids, and it's just R2-D2 on sale for $99. Oh my god. That's an insane amount of money for a droid. These are not the droids you're looking for. Right, let's continue. I never explained why you only see half my Source Filmmaker window as well. It's because... yeah, there we go. That's the sentence I just used. It's because I have an ultra-wide monitor, so there's literally no way for me to show all of the aspect without getting my whole screen in. And then everything would be squashed, so this is as much as you can see with the way I kind of lay things out. You know what? No, I do want the other way. I don't want global axes. So we'll rotate this way. This is going to be really tricky and a lot of back and forth on this guy, I think. I think any sort of kneeling position is really difficult to get right, especially in armor. I think it's particularly tricky in armor. But as long as we get him to a fairly okay point. Has anyone ever used Source Filmmaker to propose to somebody? God, imagine the disappointment on the person who's been proposed to. I'm sorry if you've done that. That was mean of me to say. I definitely want him lower down than this. I want him much more of a crouch. Like, I feel like his entire body should be, like, rotated. Because right now, this is not working how I wanted it. Ignore these trees bits going through him right now. That's not important. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get his face where I wanted his face. Which is... Okay, what is he doing? Dude, stop looking at your privates. I was going to say he just turned into Marilyn Manson, but I heard the whole Marilyn Manson getting ribs removed thing is a myth. I don't know how true that is. Although I heard that on another live stream, so maybe the other streamer was wrong. Who knows? Yeah, this is tricky. This is tricky. It's tricky. I was almost started singing Run DMC then, but I stopped. It's a good song though. Just looking back at some more reference images of crouching. We could go with a spread leg. That sounds wrong. Kind of crouch, like you would crouch in like a video game. Or we could go for more of a military crouch. But I feel like if he's on his knees crouching down, it's gonna look more like He's going to be lower down, isn't he? Okay. Let's try him on his knees. I have no idea how a Death Trooper on his knees is going to look. It may just look absolutely ridiculous. It may look like a baby waddling across the ground. A baby Death Trooper. Who knows? What would Krennic think now? The Star Wars references have started. Although I guess they started exactly 41 minutes ago, because this entire stream has been Star Wars. Okay. Yeah, I think that does look better. Especially if I tweak it a little bit, and if I can get him kind of crouching like this to place a present down, so then he's holding a present kind of here. I think that looks better. Oh god, he looks ridiculous from the camera angle. Oh my god, what have I created? It looks like the droid's about to do something bad to him. Oh no. Let's move the droid out of the way. It looks like he's about to keel over and die. God, I'm having how is this giving me deja vu? I'm actually having deja vu right now. Have I done this before? Oh god. Stormtroopers were never meant to be in this position. What we can do is we can space these out a little bit, which will give us a little bit more on the crouch here. God, this is going to look really dumb for a really long time. But it looks like his ankles are broken as well right now. Yeah, let's just break this Death Trooper's ankles, that's fine. God, that looks dumb. That looks real dumb. I have a front toe point, don't I? Okay. It means I'm going to have to move him up, but it means this is going to look less dumb. Because if I have the front toe point, this is still going to look real dumb. I mean, I could just make this flat. It's probably going to look less dumb if I do that. Rather than this sort of thing. God, this looks so stupid. Hey, this is what you go through when trying to figure out how to pose a Death Trooper kneeling at a Christmas tree. Who came up with this idea? Me. It was all me. As I once famously said on stage, it was all me. Don't look for that video. And I mean, that does look better. I think he might need to be moved back a little bit more. I think rotating him like this and then moving the top part of his body this way and this shoulder this way. Well, he doesn't look as dumb from this position now. I think it would look better if he was rotated more, though. Oh, maybe not. Oh, God. Oh, my God. He's tweaking? What is tweaking? I think that means something completely different than twerking, which is the original thing I was going for. Now it looks like he's just poking his head through here. I think that sort of angle, actually, from the back looks better. The things you can do in Source Filmmaker. It's going to look less dumb as well when I have his arms positioned. I think that's throwing me off a little bit. It looks dumb, don't get me wrong. Where is the Christmas tree? I'm going to hide the Christmas tree so I can see what I'm doing. And like this, and like this. Hello, Chewie. Are you coming to see the Star Wars? The Star Warsy Wars. No, I don't want a particle system. I want a Christmas present. Now, I got these off of the workshop as well. There's some pretty nice ones in here that we can use to decorate the tree. And around the tree. There's a bunch. Look, Christmas gift. These got different skins on it? No. Okay. These are all kind of gross looking. Sorry if you made these. Yeah, let's go with the one with the stockings on it. We just need him to have a fairly simple box. Or maybe that's too small. I feel like a Death Trooper would bring a bigger box filled with explosives. No. This is an Imperial Christmas. There's no rebels here. That's not a bad size. And we'll position it in response to his body, which is going to be about here. And up a little bit here. Like, I have these beautifully detailed models. Like, look at all the detail on these. And I'm making them do this. God, it's going to look dumb. But hey, I'm the one that said I wanted to do this, so here we are. And let's throw this shoulder back because it's messing up the pauldron over here. Not cauldron, this isn't Harry Potter. Pauldron. Which, do I have a... I have a physics point for, right? So I could switch. I don't have a physics point. I have this physics point. Oh, I have one. Okay, cool. I do have one. So I can move this way if I need to. Here. And let's just put that there so I can see what I'm doing. It's not bad. I'm not sure if I like how much he's leaning this way. I think it would probably be better if he wasn't... Yeah, I think this looks better already. Like, look. I can't really tell what he's doing from this perspective now, though. Which is probably why I had him rotated so much. Here. Yeah, that does look better, in all honesty, with myself. Still think it's really dumb to have him doing it. I'm now debating just getting rid of this, or where am I looking? Here we go. Or we don't do this sort of pose that I've got him kind of sitting on the floor in a dumb crouch position. Maybe I actually just have him kind of lowering the presence, so like we crouch his legs a little bit like this, like this, like this. That doesn't work. Your shin, your entire lower leg can't go forward. That looks like it hurts. No, so if we do that, so it's going out that way, and then this one goes out this way. Rotate this way, then down here. We'll compare. We'll compare the two. The dude crouching on the floor to dude lowering a present like an old man. They're the options I have right here. I feel like the lowering like an old man would work better in the armor. Okay, this leg looks real dumb, and I don't know why. Okay. The music is very quiet in the background right now. It's like a calm piano sound. Well, I like that leg position. That looks pretty good. We're going to rotate him down like this and like this. And now he's an old man with a bad back. Oh, I'm an old man with a bad back. Beautiful. That's a great voice, Matt. 10 out of 10 for voice acting. And then, yeah, we can then bring his arms forward like this. This may be the best way to do it. Now that I've seen how dumb dude sat on the floor is, I should have made him sat cross-legged. It would have made him look like he was like meditating or something. Now it looks like he's just going crazy. He's like, I'm a zombie. I decided not to do a voice for that one. You know, for all of your sanity. And let's just rotate this up. Move the pauldron out to here. Yeah, I definitely think that looks better. Bye-bye, old Death Trooper. Hello, new Death Trooper. Who looks like he has a bad back. Place this here and here. Move them back to about here. So maybe we can pile up like a big pile of presents right here, and he's about to place this one on the top. I think that'll look pretty good. I do think that as a pose is much more interesting than him laid awkwardly on the floor. I'm just gonna have to move slightly. I need to go put the extra heater on because it's like -1 here. It's so cold. I go to that side of the room. Go to that side of the room and Chewie's just like asleep on the floor. He's like taking up all the space. He's a small dog. Okay. Background noise now is the heater or the music. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the heater. No, there's no snow. We've got no snow. Even though like Birmingham and Manchester got loads, we got none. And we're not due any either. Like they said we may have got some yesterday, but we never did. Which is fine by me. You know why? Because I don't want it to snow when I go see Star Wars. I mean, I already have to get public transport to go see Star Wars, so... Right. Oh. Now it's a gun. This is a gun present. Look at that. I'm not paying for a taxi. I don't mind getting a bus, to be honest. It's I can survive. I almost did say something else. It wasn't bad. I was just gonna say it's the cheaper of two alternatives. The other being not going at all. Uber doesn't exist in Hull. You gotta remember, this is the dark north I live in. This is north of the... This is like Winterfell. Do you think Winterfell would have Uber? No. They only just got Raven. Yeah, no. I don't know many places up here that have Uber. I think one of the like the big taxi companies in Hull said that if Uber ever comes here, they'll do something bad. I don't remember what it was. They were making shit up as usual. There he is, old death troopery, placing his you know, yep. Beautiful. What a beautiful, beautiful scene I've created. Right, let's figure out where the hell this droid's going. He may have to get cut. There you go, he just walked through scene. Yeah, I don't remember what they said. They said something stupid. I don't really want this droid over here. And it doesn't make a lot of sense being here. Right, we're moving the droid off screen. The droid may be dead. Its life in this scene may be gone. Okay. Let's do presents next. They complained about something, what the taxi companies. I don't remember what it was. You know, general stupidity probably. So let's get these groups of Christmas boxes. I really like these. These are really nice. I got these from the workshop. Not Santa's workshop. Like the Steam workshop. And we can position them this way. This way a little bit. We'll pile these up a little bit more as well. Oh, look at these. There's a lot here. Wow, that's a big bunch of presents. It's more than I've ever seen in my life. How many there are? Maybe it looks weird with the ladders there. Maybe we move these this way. I mean, that looks better. I just need to figure out the clipping here. That looks good. Okay. And then just a couple of presents for the front. You can go right here. And then we'll copy that. And we'll place these right here as well. It does look like these don't have AL on them. Oh well, they're affected by lighting, so. But I don't really see any ambient occlusion on them at all, which makes it very difficult for me to place them on top of each other without it looking really weird. Well, to begin with, they're gonna have to go down here. We've got some crazy music going on in the background now. What is happening? It's like drum and bass or something. It's not drum and bass. It's nowhere near drum and bass, Matt. Well, I'm sorry I don't know music self. And then let's put some other models in here. Yeah, this one will do. Trying to make these as asymmetric as possible. And then let's put a couple of other different coloured presents in there, because right now they're all uniform. I feel like people would use different wrapping, you know? Not all stormtroopers would wrap the same. That's an interesting sentence. Not all stormtroopers would wrap the same. No, I don't think they would. Some might sound like Jay-Z, others might sound like Eminem. Welcome to Bad Jerks at 6:56 p.m. Definitely looks like these are floating, doesn't it? I don't think they are. I think it's just the ambient occlusion. They definitely don't look like they are from here, so that's fine. Okay, I think that's pretty good for the presents around the tree now. So now let's start adding in all of the cool different Star Wars figurines, if you want to call them that. So we'll grab from here to here. Let's go with TIE Fighters first. And they're going to be used for two things. I'm going to place some on the floor and some in the tree. Kind of like extra hanging decorations. I'm just going to place them in the tree. Which is evidently easier said than done because I can't seem to find branches very easily. Okay, there we go. That'll do. These are just going to kind of be like strewn about a little bit. I don't know if you'll even see them, but hey, I'm all about that extra detail. This one needs to move this way a little bit more. We've got a few TIE Fighters in there now. Put one more in there. Just a little higher up. Again, you don't really notice them in the tree. If you look really close, you can see them. Don't even know where I just placed them. They're there. I want the first one again. I want to rotate it slightly. A little bit more. There we go. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably chroma this at a few different levels, and then I'll add some motion blur to the ladders and things like that in Photoshop. I definitely want to add more detail to the floor as well, because right now it's pretty simple. Okay, next. X-Wing. I want all of the X-Wings to have their S-foils, attack foils in attack position.
Preview.
Oh my god, there's a thing that's saying preview on this. This isn't a free piece of music, it's something that says preview in it. Crazy, crazy world we live in. What was I don't even feel like this is what I was listening to anymore. Oh, it's maybe because it's gone onto a totally different playlist. That makes sense, because I've been streaming for so long. Okay. Anyway, back to the X-Wings. We are gonna put their selves into attack position. Just gonna wing where this is. Actually, we should check rotation on both of these. Oops. I forgot to put the minus in front. That's also not a thing I just did. Minus. There we go. And then on the upper R, we can just do rotation and lower. No, wait. Where's the up? What? Can't read. No, my weakness has been revealed. And minus that. There we go. That'll do for attack position. Go in the tree as well. Different positions. I thought this would make the tree a little bit more interesting than just being like a traditional Christmas tree, like having the Death Star on the top and mixing in a few different types of TIEs and X-Wings. And again, you don't really notice them. You might notice them when it's rendered, but hey, I don't really care. Next, I'm going to take the Millennium Falcon. That's going to be moved over here. And I'm going to place it right here. It's kind of like a toy Millennium Falcon, because someone in the Empire would totally want that. Yep. And the ATST, we're going to move to right about here as well. It's going to be knocked over. Kind of in reference to my first Source Filmmaker piece, which obviously has the Stormtrooper sat on a broken ATST. God, what have I done? Okay, and then let's put Slave 1 in the tree somewhere. Good old Boba Fett shout out. I haven't yet figured out how I'm going to make this image look good, by the way. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe that's a little too big. Let's go to scale. Maybe a little smaller than that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just a couple of other things to put in there now. Let's put the Gonzani in there somewhere. One of my favourite Imperial ships. I love the Gonzani. I don't know if it's made its way into any of the main movies yet. Because I feel like the first time I saw it realistically was in Battlefront 2. But I could be wrong. It maybe was in Rebels, but I'm not sure. It was in Rebels, sorry. That's where I first saw it, I think. But I don't know if it was ever in Rogue One. And there's just a couple of TIE fighters left, an interceptor. Place about here. And then a TIE bomber. We can also place over this way somewhere. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with how that's looking. Maybe we'll put an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter on the floor. TIE Fighter first. And let's move the X-Wing. There. And move it this way some more to fill in this gap. They're definitely on the floor. It looks like it. That's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Next. Do we add anything else Christmas-wise right now? Yeah, let's do... Actually, let me save real quick. For some reason, whenever I'm going through the imports, or like adding a new model, I get weird errors, and sometimes it just crashes the game. I call this a game. The software. Here we go. I was looking for the lights. There's some other lights as well. Like these are some that I saw. These are some that I saw. This is the Christmas presents that this guy's holding. These are all from TF2. So that's pretty good. I like that. Hey, that's a really good bauble. That was in... just standard TF2. That's some gift wrap. Alright. I'll have some gift wrap. I swear I saw some like decoration lights. Like, searching just lights is going to be crazy. There's going to be so many. Yeah, like, this just is entirely just filled up with these now. Like, none of these are Christmas lights. But I'm almost positive I saw some, like, normal-looking... like Christmas lights, like in a line. I kind of just want the floor to look a little bit like it's not been, like they're still finishing up, setting everything up. So I want things like this on the floor, and I want other lights on the floor. I can't remember how I found... Oh, here we go. Oh, they're from the big set. Okay. These are garlands. These are some ribbons. No, I swear there was more than this that I saw. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me just search Xmas. I like some of the TF2 Christmas guns are just a gun with a little light strapped to the bottom. Let's just go through item by item. It's a nice Christmas present, actually. Lights. Here we go. We have found them. Took far too long. So there's this version, but then there's also a static version, I think? The static version sounds more appealing to me. Good. Now, is this like this because it's bendable? Is this a bendable string? Yeah, but the joints are really annoying. Beginning. Beginning, everybody. We have a beginning. We are yet to find a middle and an end, though. Okay. What I'm going to do... I'm going to find the correct angle for this. Place this in here. And then scale it up until... Oh, that's going to cause issues. Let's just scale from the beginning then. Something like that. Scale it just a tiny little bit bigger. Position these like this. And then everything from here to here, we can start lowering. Oh no, beginning is selected, that's why. Global axes. This one and this one. I'm just waiting for this to get past this point, and then we can rotate again. And here. So I think now we can rotate so that they're facing back down this way. We've got a nice kind of arch going on there. And we can also bring these forward. Put the wall. I kind of want them back here, kind of just leaning off of this. Fix these just by moving this up a little bit. Oh, well, that's really annoying. I don't know how far that is selected. On this side. Well, this is going to be impossible. Right, let's go to this end. You kind of have to do everything in a really strange order because of the way the bones are connected. No one's even going to see these lights. I'm spending so long on them, no one's even going to notice they're there. Story of my life. Alright, Chewie. Stop making noise. Okay. I mean, maybe I even just get rid of this end one. Probably looks a little better. Okay, and then I think if we go from 4 to 7, lower, and then 4 to 7 again. It's quite annoying because even if I move all of these up, I don't think I'm going to have the same hang on both sides. Like, even if I selected 7, look, it does all of them. And then 8. And then 9. 10. 11 can go back up. 12. 13. 15. And that's the middle point. And down to here. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back down from here. And there we go. There's some Christmas lights. That took a long time for that. Just putting that out there. Took probably way too long. Next. But I really wanted to start lighting in about 5-10 minutes from now, so let's hurry up. Let's hurry up. Oh, I also want lights again, actually. And then let me go to this one. Why I wanted lights again is I want them to be on the floor. Do is curve this into this grouping of lights that are already here. That'll do. There we go, that looks pretty good. It's like a straight line coming out of that. We can make it slightly wobbly, but I don't want to do too much. It's going to mess up the placement. There we go. Now I think we could do with either wreaths or garlands on the wall. Wreaths? Wreaths? Probably under Christmas. So these are the garlands. Are wreaths and garlands different? I say that because I thought a garland was like a... Oh. That's only a little bit. Maybe I'm not... Maybe I'm thinking... Maybe they're like, what I would refer to as like wall tinsel. Yep, wall tinsel. Because they all look like that, I think. Well, maybe we can use these as like little hanging things then, because I needed some of these. I need some for up here. They are a little big. Copy, paste, copy, and paste. That looks fine. I don't know if it interferes too much with the bauble from the stormtrooper, so we'll move that slightly. Other than that, there's a lot of extra detail I want to add to the floor still, but I think it's worth me just jumping into doing some lighting to show that now. So what I'm going to do first is I always start by testing out some lighting with the nearest character, which is Stormtrooper 2. So what I do have is this DRG menu, and I just start spawning lights and seeing if any of them look good, if any of them are what I'm looking for in terms of lights. And then that'll give me an idea of how to build and some base lights to work with as well. Now, I don't think I'll find anything, but I might find something that I can use as a nice kind of foreground item, because this is quite nice. I also don't want... My tone mapping can be a little bit high, my gloom can be like 1, 2. My strength and radius can be up on these, okay. We'll tinker with those a little more later. Focal distance way further than that game. Is right there. But like if I have aperture up at all, like he in the foreground's gonna get blurry, so I'm probably gonna have aperture down. And other than that, let's go back to messing with the lights. That's quite nice. I like the red kind of coming in from one side, but I think it's too blue. I think they should be as natural looking as possible. That's really nice. I like that a lot. That might be the one I can use actually. So how I mess with these to get a general sense of lighting is I look at which ones are doing what. So this bounce light is doing everything from this direction. So I'll take the bounce... Oh, it's actually the key light, sorry. Do that, I'll rotate it slightly to be facing everyone. And then I will put max distance all the way up. Turn cutoff off, cut on off, far edge on. That on, set max distance slider to be... I don't know, like 9,000. And another way I test this is I just turn volumetric on. So as I can see now it's over there. That's where I didn't know where it was. So now if I start pointing this at this scene, I definitely want the FOV of these to be higher, the width to be higher, and the height to be higher. So there it's kind of lighting the entire scene. I can turn volumetrics off, and we're good. turn this back down to around here. Looking over to here to see the scene. It's not bad. I'll probably turn it down a little bit more. Bounce light. So this is just the first kind of passive lighting that I do. Again, we'll turn on volumetrics. Just so I can kind of get an idea of where we are. This. Okay. Turn this down again. And the fill light. And the rim light. We may just keep on this guy for now, and then I might duplicate the rim light actually. Move this up this way. We can turn volumetrics off on this one, and we can enable it on this one. So right now it's kind of pointing over this way. So we need to rotate it back into the scene. Point it back down at the scene. So that's pointing right back on our Stormtrooper here. But if we make this wider again, it's going to point on the entire scene. Which is a nice kind of directional light we're going to get for everyone. And this is the scene right now. It's pretty dark. It is pretty dark. But it's, you know, it's a start. I may change this bauble too because it's a bit too bright. But other than that, this is a pretty good start for the lighting pass. There's going to be a lot of changes to the lighting, but this is how it starts. So, starting to create custom lights now. I want custom lights for all of these light banks. Right here. So, we'll start by positioning these like this. And these are all going to be 2 lights, so what we'll do is start by expanding these. I'm really bad at figuring out like how to do some of these systems on here. So there we go. It's a little bit of start of the lighting for the floor. We may punch that a little further. Because like if I turn this up, you can see it doesn't reach very far this way. That looks a little better. I don't know if that's too far, and maybe it's not blue enough. But hey, we can then turn this down around here. Copy and paste. Copy and paste. And these two, copy and paste. We'll turn shadows off on these because these definitely don't need shadows. Wow, that one's surprisingly broken. What is wrong with that? Oh, okay. Did all of these not get... No, they seem to be good. Yeah, okay, that's what I feared was going to happen. That looks pretty good. Yeah, happy with that. Copy and paste. Move these over here. That looks good. And again. I think there's only 3 lights back here. So I think these 2 need to go. That's looking pretty nice. I'll take one of these, position it here, shine it up this way, back with a stormtrooper like this, and then he's got a bit of what looks like shine coming from down here. And I still want to get off that tree. There we go. Which is quite a nice little back shine. We'll do the same for the Death Trooper. Although this is going to be much harder to position because I don't know if I want it to maybe come from the side of him. Like down this way. we go. So this is where we're at right now in terms of lighting and positioning of everything. I want a little bit more color in the scene, but I think the lighting is almost there. It just needs a couple of lighting brightness passes now, because obviously they're in a hangar of sorts, some sort of imperial room anyway. Okay. I'm just trying to get the guy in the foreground at about the right level of lighting now. And then this can... volumetric. So what I want is the actual volume, like the light not to start until after him. Okay, so we need a high and min distance then. Just 600. Disable volumetrics. Now this shouldn't affect, yeah, it only affects the background. Good. And let's override these. I'm not sold on this as a scene. I think it looks okay. I think this was a very interesting experiment. I think it needs a little bit of work. It's interesting because the lighting is quite difficult to deal with. If we turn off all the original lights, and just the ones I made, and the shadows are a little better. I like the low lighting as well. But overall, I'm not sold on it. It's been a fun 2 hours building it, but I don't know if I like it. It's a bit tricky when you've spent so long on it. I think it needs, the lighting is definitely an issue, and it's difficult to do something moody when you've got this sort of like lighting going on. Because I really like it like this, which I know is a really strange thing to say, but without the rest of the lighting, it actually looks quite cool. Like I like the reflections, like the light coming on here and over here. Even that side light is nice. I'm just not sold on the overall look of it. Maybe I try to do something more Christmassy and crazy with the lighting. Oh hey Alex, how's it going? You are a tad little bit late. I'll be streaming for a little bit longer because I'm not super happy with it actually. I've been streaming for about 2 hours now, and I just don't know if it needs something crazy with the lighting. I mean, this is super crazy. If I backlight this, maybe? Rather than just expand these. I gotta turn shadows off. Like maybe I do something like this, I'm not sure. I mean, this is super, super crazy of an idea, like adding light sources like this. Of such vibrant colors. I would never normally do this. But I'm thinking maybe if I do this one like green. Well, what a dumb idea that was, Matt. Good job. That looks like trash. But hey, this is what we do. We experiment. I wonder if maybe adding these bright lights back in at a slightly dimmer thing with green and the red in there. I think the green and the red add a little bit of, I guess, texture to the lighting, but I'm not sure. I think it looks better with the green and the red, because like if you look at it, well, it doesn't look like it changes a lot, but if you look on the characters, it does. So that's the red. I feel like you can't really see the red that much. Maybe I was gonna say maybe I up this, but then that just becomes a crazy mess, doesn't it? I mean, I definitely the tree has lights on it, and I would probably add more lights in post, like so they're actually lit up. It's just the scenes lighting that I'm not sold on. I mean, I could do. Let me grab one of my bounce lights. They're from. Yeah, here. Wait, is that the one that's lighting? No, I need the one that's lighting. It's 14, okay. Because I wonder if maybe we do. Look how cool the scene looks. Way cooler out here. That looks weird. Look at that. Let's just do that. Post done, finished. What was I doing? I was moving this light, wasn't I? Because what I could do. Let me just turn volumetrics on so I know what I'm doing. Is put this just below the tree. Off. Pull this back a little bit. I can't quite tell if that's made the scene better or worse. I think it looks too flat. Like, maybe I need like aperture on here, but as soon as I throw aperture up on the lens, we're gonna blur out this dude. Look. Yep. So I guess I won't be doing that. It looks like some sort of like ethereal thing. I don't know if the AA radius looks better up or down either. Let's wait for it to render. Looks okay. Let me put the radius down into the land of crazy, weird etherealness. Yeah, it looks better with. Way better with. I just feel like there's something not filmic about the image. It looks too not right, if that makes any sense. Let's turn the tone mapping down a little. The bloom scale down. I mean, I really like the scene. Like, there's so much going on in it. Like, just that as an image is pretty cool. And, like, I feel like all the little snippets of action going on is really cool. Like, just looking at, like, him falling back from there and stuff like that, I think is pretty cool. I feel like something's not right about the scene as it is. I can't really change the camera angle, because as soon as I change the camera angle, we lose a lot of the action. And I don't think I don't think the camera is the thing that's wrong. So my other idea to make it look a little better is to add some volumetrics in. Let's see. Because I could do two things. I could either add new volumetrics, or I could turn the green and the red into volumetric lights, which gets us something like this. And we add a bit of noise to it. And we add a bit of noise to it. Looks a little better. If I then put the radius on both of them. I don't know if that's going to do much from they're so far away. And let's tweak the AO again. Okay. And maybe we also take one of these, turn it into a volumetric light. By one of these, I'm talking about one of these. Turn its intensity up. And we shift it this way. Make it really wide. And shift it this way some more. I just do this so I can see the positioning, because then I can turn this back down. Like how the moment I turn that up, it just goes crazy. And then if I do the same on the other side, right here. Maybe tweak the intensity on this one a little bit. I have no idea again how this will look once it's rendered. And see, now I think these parts are just too bright. And I feel like we're losing some of that. Those are the colours. I think that looks a lot better than what we had. Let me start turning off some lights and see where we get to. Wow, that looks like a disco. That just shows you how intense like some of the lights are. But once it's rendered like that, that's not too bad either. I just think you lose because of some of the rim lights disappearing from him. Maybe if we just turn those off, we'll keep the rim lights. I think it definitely looks better. Let's just say this is the final image. Beautiful. 10 out of 10. Sorry, 7.5, not enough water. It's not too much water, it's not enough. There we go, we spent 2 hours, that's the scene we've made. No, it's this madness. where are my main lights that are filling everything? So this is one of them. This is the other one. Let's have a look. Dulled some of the lights down. It's looking a little better. I think the volumetrics have added quite a lot to the scene. And I think if I add a bunch of like nice bright lights to the tree, I think it'll look a lot better as well. I'm gonna do a couple of extra things to the scene with lighting off. See, this is the lighting off. This is a really good test. Lighting off, no lighting on the scene at all, and then lighting on. Lighting off. Lighting on. So hopefully the lighting on is better. I'm going to change this bauble because it's way too reflective. And yeah, it's just way too reflective. We're also going to add these ribbons in. Although they may be a lot smaller than that. We're just going to put them over here to hide the point where the lights merge into the wall. Definitely too big. Alex, if you watch the archive of this on YouTube, at the very beginning, I go back into some of my old scenes and kind of show how I did some things, or how the scenes look. So that might be interesting for you to have a look at. Rather than just this scene, which doesn't necessarily express my abilities very well. I swear I've made it much smaller than that, and it looks massive on the wall there. Maybe not. That look with lighting. Once it's rendered. Looks pretty good. But we're going to change that bauble as well. Because you are way too reflective, Mr. Bauble. Do I have one of the other ones in here? I have these ones. Maybe one of these duller ones will actually work better. Let me grab it. Of this very, very slightly. here. Okay. Okay, I think that's better. That looks better. Okay. Definitely want to put Santa hats on them. I think the lighting in the scene is looking better now. So I don't remember if it was Xmas hat or this is where it's going to crash. When I quickly flick through things, it just crashes for some reason. It's not that hat. So I think it might just... Oh. I just added some weird thing.
Shockwavesound.com.
Oh good, there's some shockwavesound.com happening right now. Whatever that is. Right. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of TF2 hats, and I really like these ones. These Santa hats are really cute. That's a mix of cute and cool. I love how dumb stormtroopers look with Santa hats on. That is my favourite thing ever. They look hilariously dumb. It's not really on his head. Be able to notice from here, although it still looks too small on his head. But like going any bigger is gonna look that looks ridiculous. That cannot be the size of his hat. You crazy stormtrooper, you crazy. I also don't know where it should come up to. Like, where is the end of like where a Santa hat should sit on a stormtrooper? That's a thing I never thought I'd think about. Do I like that? I think I do. Let's just put it right over his eyes. That is perfect. I think that looks cute. It's like, you know, a Stormtrooper Christmas. That looks pretty good with the lighting on. I think it fits. I think I'm going to add one like falling off this guy's head. I wish I could change the color to green and put a green one on the Death Trooper. I think I only have the option of red and blue, but I'll check if I can do it. But I like that. It's a shame that I can't rotate it anymore because I feel like there's like a little bulge here. See this lip on this side that I would like to get rid of. And the only way to do that would be to rotate this way. But as soon as I do that, we lose the side borbliness. We can't really move it this way, look, because we do that. And if we do this, we start losing this. It's a shame. But I think it'll do. So let's copy the hat. Turn the lighting off again. Paste. I actually think it'd be further down than this. It'd be more like here. Don't know if that just looks ridiculously dumb. Maybe it should be on his head, but slightly slipped back. Because I think floating beyond it just looks like I didn't place it on it. Like maybe even if I slip it down the back, that sounds weird, a little bit, and then rotate it this way, just a tiny bit, so it looks like it's kind of fallen back off his head a little bit. Yeah, like that. And then let's experiment to see if I can change the color, because right now it can either be it can either be red or blue, but I don't know if it supports material tag. I doubt it will. Let's have a look. So this is add Team Fortress item. What a weird thing you can add. So there's blue. Stick to red. Model materials. Oh, maybe we can. We can change the color. Didn't even have to add a color tag or anything. Just let me do it. There we go. Oh wow, his head can actually be smaller. Confirmed, Death Troopers have smaller heads than normal Stormtroopers. Like way smaller heads, look. Maybe it needs to be bigger again, so I can fit it over this bit. Now the real question is, do the hats look stupid? No, I think I like the hats. I'm just dulling the green of the Stormtrooper, the Death Trooper a little bit. And the volumetric render a little bit. And there we go. Yeah, I think I like that a lot better. I mean, it's crazy how far the lighting's come from me despising it to me now not hating it as much. So I think that is what I'm gonna call it. As an idea. As a stream. And then I think I'll render this a few different times with some chroma. But I think for now, that is the final image. I need to render chromas of front, mid, ladder and stormtrooper only, and then back wall only. But I think it needs some nice lights on the Christmas tree. And maybe kind of a bit of a green Death Star laser thing going on at the top. All of which I'll do in Photoshop. But I think that looks pretty good. I'm much, much happier with that than I was the earlier versions of it. And to render this, I just go to Export Poster. I think I'll do this one at 4K rather than the craziness of 8K, because I usually render things at 8K, but I'm just gonna, I like how you can see my start menu. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab the 4K resolution because I always forget it's 3840 2160 PNG, and export poster. Does it look the same on here as it does on here? Yes, as long as these volumetric lines are there when it's finished rendering, then yes. I'm pretty happy with that. That's the final picture. I'm going to do a bunch of work on it in Photoshop and release it, I guess, if I like the final thing. I will, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. This was an interesting stream. I'll make this the thumbnail for now, and then I'll update it to the final version when I'm done on everything. Archive will go up pretty shortly for this as well. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. It was a weird one. Goodbye.